Come on in. Hey, welcome, Revision, Lady Ponder. Welcome back, Lady Ponder. Thank you so much for joining. Come on in. Welcome, replay viewers. Thank you for being on this scope. Thank you so much for joining live viewers. Tap on the screen if this information resonates with you. Share the scope out. Retweet it on Twitter. And share it with someone. You never know who may be suffering in silence. Hey, thank you. Thank you. I had to switch it up, right? So thank you. So I am, for those of you who don't know me, I am Dr. Tamika Works on all social media platforms, and I help you find your voice, tell your story, and take the stage of your life. But I can also be found on NBC, ABC, Fox, teaching and showing women how to know the red flags of domestic violence and how to escape potentially deadly situations. Okay, so that's something. I am a survivor of 20 years of domestic violence and abuse. I'm a best-selling author, media personality, and I'm very passionate about helping women so that they know that they don't have to suffer in silence. Welcome. Thank you all so much for the hearts. Thanks for coming on in. If I do not acknowledge you, it is because Periscope is acting a little janky, so I don't see everyone that comes in, but I thank you for being on my scope because you could be anywhere else, but you chose to be here. So share the scope out, retweet it, and let's get this thing started. So as some of you know, I've been talking about, this is like the Mama's Boy series, the Mama's Boy Chronicles, however you want to say it. But here's the thing that I wanted to ask some of you tonight. Have you become, or are you, the side chick in your marriage? Now, we broke down a few nights ago about how that comes about and how that unhealthy, toxic relationship between mother and son begins to manifest. And so the outcome of that oftentimes is domestic violence. And we think sometimes, we see it on the news, they don't call it domestic violence, they don't label it domestic violence, but abuse that is mental, emotional, spiritual, all of that is considered abuse. What you see on the news that they don't label as, for some reason I can't see you guys when you come in, and I think that's been an issue today. So welcome. Drop your name in the comment section so that I can say hello to you and give you a formal greeting. So a lot of times what we see on the news is the end result. That's after the verbal abuse, that's after the financial, the spiritual, the sexual. That's when the abuser feels as though he has lost total and complete control. So in order to gain the ultimate control, the victim, I don't really like to use the name or the word victim, but the victim is murdered. So that's like the ultimate, just ending for the whole power and control. So here's what I wanted to ask you, as I said before. Are you the side chick in your marriage? Like, has your mother-in-law or your boyfriend or fiance's mother become front and center? Or is it that she's always been front and center, but because a lot of times abusers in the beginning of relationships, they sweep us off of our feet, right? We get swept up off of our feet. They might do a little something here, and then it's like they test you out to see if they can get away with it. Thank you guys so much for the hearts. I appreciate it. Can someone type a 1 if you can hear me? Type a 1 if you can hear me. I'm not sure if maybe my audio is bad. Can you see? Okay, so you can hear me. Okay, type a 1 if you can hear me. Okay, so here's the deal. So you may have been swept off of your feet and you did not realize that this relationship that this man, this grown man has with his mother is unhealthy. So I'm going to share something with you out of my book, right? So this is the Speak Up and Get Out book, as you can see. And so just about every day, welcome Classy Bodiqua. Thank you for coming in. So just about every day, I get messages from women saying, oh my goodness, I can't believe I didn't see this. Hey, hello, thank you for coming in. I get these messages from women saying, I can't believe I didn't see the signs. I just thought because, he was close to his mother that he would be good for me. But here's the thing, and I'm going to read this to you real quick. It says, when you hear a man describe himself as a mama's boy, or his mother describe him as a mama's boy, or he says that he and his mother are very close, we think it's the title, picture interest. Yes. Yes, indeed. I'm telling you, it's an epidemic. It is an epidemic. And there's so many women, especially during the holidays, that are dealing with these issues, where there was one woman, and I'll share this story with you. Her and her husband, they both had their own car, okay? Well, the wife's car, the sensor wasn't working to tell them that the battery had gone bad, okay? So the battery on the car had gone bad. The mother/mother-in-law knew this. But what she did, because she had this sense of entitlement, she contacted the husband early in the morning and said, hey, I need you to write me a check for $350 because I have a bill to pay. Now, anyone else would have said, okay, so their car is down. They're only down to one car. Let me figure out my own way of getting money for my bills so that I don't have to bother them, because they definitely have to get their car repaired. Well, the normal way, as I said, would be that logic. But when you have a mother and son who are enmeshed with one another, there are no boundaries. There are no, situations that would say, okay, well, this is not right. Let me respect her space. Let me respect his space and handle this on my own. But instead, because he was raised that he's to take care of the mother, he's to protect the mother, and pretty much brainwashed. My significant other is an only child. Yes, that is a red flag, especially when there's no boundaries. And it sounds like there's no boundaries. If she's very clingy, calling multiple times per day, wanting to know where you guys are going, what time you're coming back, that is unhealthy. It's a huge red flag. If she has a key to the house, right? If she has a key to your house, if it's not an emergency, she should not be popping up at your house using that key coming on into the house. But you have situations where there are no boundaries. And because there aren't any boundaries, it's just a free will to do whatever, whenever. And so I wanted to ask you, have you become that side chick? Does the mother-in-law have no boundaries? Does she come and go as she pleases? Does he feel guilty if he can't meet her needs? Those are also red flags, because it's a thing where the son feels as though he is financially responsible. Welcome, Mina girl. Thank you so much for joining. He feels as though he's financially responsible for her. He's emotionally responsible, responsible for, her overall happiness. And with that creeps in manipulation. Because when she sees that he's having a good time with his own little intimate, immediate family. Thank you so much for inviting followers. You're not married yet, but I've addressed the relationship because at this point. Oh yeah, and it will only get worse after you get married, Classy. It will only get worse. It will, greetings. Thank you so much for coming in, Mina. Yeah, it will only get worse after you get married because he's going to feel as though he sealed the deal. You know, it's sad to say, but oftentimes women think, well, if we, welcome Tamara P. Fields, thank you for coming in. Oftentimes we think, okay, if I get married, then things will get better. Hey, Dr. G, welcome, welcome. I saw you the other day. You were going off. You were like, Hoshinama Banda Kawasaki. I said, check him out. You were going off in that scope. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming in. Hello, hello. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Tamika Works on all social media platforms. And it's a two-part thing because I help women know the red flags of domestic violence and escape potentially deadly situations. And then once they graduate from that portion of their life, I teach them how to find their voice, share their story and their message so that they can take the stage of their life. So that's what I do so that they can show up as the most powerful and profitable version of who they are. Wow, Dr. Tamika. Oh, thank you, Dr. G. Same with you. Yes, indeed. Make sure you guys follow Dr. G because I'm telling you, he's got the goods too. Yes, indeed. So here's the thing. There are no boundaries, right? And because there are no boundaries, he's learned that he's become like a people pleaser, okay? So it's that suffering from the disease to please. And you'll find, welcome back, Classy, you'll find that a lot of times to get the attention of the son away from his children or away from his wife or away from his girlfriend, you'll find that this mother-in-law or the mother of your fiance or boyfriend is always like, there's always some kind of emergency. There's always some bill to be paid or, oh, you got to pick me up and take me here because I can't drive, or she's got to be rushed to the emergency room only to find out, ain't nothing really wrong. You know, or if it is something wrong, yeah, it's very needy and manipulative, and it could have been prevented, right? It could have been prevented, but because she knew not taking action on one thing would trigger going to the emergency room, guess what? All eyes are on him. He's scared. He's turning into a little boy. Oh my gosh, what's going to happen to my mom? Okay? So then you can be bleeding half to death. You can have a part of your arm hanging off. Thank you guys so much for the hearts and sharing this out with your followers and retweeting it. I appreciate it. You can be, yes, there's always, what's that song? Someone please call 911. That's the way it was all, you know, it's always a 911. And don't talk about my singing. It's always a 911 situation. But it's really not. It's all a strategic, manipulative move to distance him. And that's the other thing that I'm seeing, I'm hearing, and I've even experienced. So I'm not talking textbook, I'm talking life book, okay? There are situations where the mother-in-law, yeah, manipulation is so real. Abuse is so real. And I'm not talking physical abuse because we hear about the physical abuse. We see it on the news when we see, you know, somebody being murdered, a woman being murdered. But that's the end of it. That's not even the buildup. That didn't just happen overnight. That was a lot of name calling. That was a lot of throwing things. That was a lot of control. You know, she may have been, manipulated into wearing clothing that she really didn't like, or not permitted to wear makeup, you know, dictated as to where she can go or who she can hang out with, you know, that kind of thing, right? So here's the thing. Welcome back, Tamara. There are a lot of, I see these mothers where they will cause a division by tricking their son into believing no other woman is going to love you the way I love you. She's not going to have your back the way I have your back. It's us against the world, all of these brainwashing tactics. And some of these tactics are actually used in the military. Everybody else is the enemy, right? Everybody else is the enemy. Thank you. Everybody else is the enemy, but it's me and you against the world. And you're standing there like, wait a minute. And I see the devil is a liar and his cousins, okay? Yeah. I heard of the mother may say you can let. Yeah, but here's the thing we talked about the other night. Some of these mothers, I see them posting pictures of their sons on Facebook. And I'm telling you, little Ray Ray is like 3 years old, 10 years old. And she like, this my boyfriend. Hey, Tayloria, this my boyfriend. This my husband, y'all. And it's like, no, don't confuse them like that. Because see, when you tell a husband, son, a surrogate husband, right? So it's like, it confuses the child because the child really doesn't know what his position is. He doesn't know what position to play because she's saying, hey, you're my son. I love you for life. You're my gift, but then she's saying, hey, y'all, he's my husband. He's my boyfriend. And then let's talk about teenage years. Because, see, I talk about things that a lot of people don't want to really talk about. But let's talk about the teenage years where his hormones begin to kick in and she's undressing in front of him. Yeah, tomfoolery. She's undressing in front of him. Right. That happens too. He bucks up against the new husband or the husband because he's like, wait a minute. This unhealthy, toxic relationship has been formed, and this son has a ball of mixed emotions around his mother. And like I said before, his hormones start kicking in, and he begins to have romantic feelings for his mother. And that further complicates the situation. So how does a woman, and I'm not saying how as in I'm looking for an answer, it's more of a rhetorical thing, but how can a woman compete with a man who is in love with his mother? And it's not a healthy type of love. So how do you get along in a situation like that? Because that woman will never win, especially when that mother keeps telling her son, oh, you're my pride and joy, you're my king, you're my this, we've been through so much together, remember what we've been through. So she's constantly reminding him and keeping him in bondage, and he's feeling like he can't even live his own life. So guess what? He's looking at the wife now or the girlfriend side-eye, giving her the side-eye. And she's thinking, well, we've had vows together. And for those of you who are not married, you go through it too. You have children with this man or you've spent years with this man. And yet he's putting you to the side for his mother. You can be in dire straits. But he won't jump for you or come for you or help you the way that he would help his mother. So what do? Because I've heard women say, well, the Bible says we can't get a divorce and, but when you have someone verbally abusing you, and I see where a lot of women say, well, he doesn't hit me. I was that woman. Well, he doesn't hit me. I'm a survivor of 20 years of domestic violence and abuse. I didn't realize poking and shoving and name calling and, keeping tabs on me. I didn't realize that was, it fell into the category of domestic violence. Thank you guys so much for the hearts. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. But I did not realize it. I didn't understand it until it was almost too late. So that's why I'm like, okay, if I was in 20 years of an abusive relationship and didn't realize it was abusive, because it's not always mean. It's not always nasty. It's not always, you did this, you did that. It's not mean. It can be very smooth. It can be very methodical. And as someone said earlier, it's very manipulative. It's done in a manipulative way. It can sometimes be, what's that restaurant? Served up with a smile. Served up with a smile. And all the while you're being broken down, your self-worth, your self-confidence, your self-esteem, your self-belief, all of that stuff begins to erode because you're not quite sure why it's happening. You notice a change in yourself. You might notice you're not as happy as you used to be. You don't enjoy going to family gatherings because every move you make, she's got something to say about it, how you were eating the food, or, you did or didn't do something that met her standards. So you find yourself falling deeper and deeper into a depression, and you're not exactly understanding why you're feeling this way. And for some of us, because of our culture, we don't even like to label it as depression. Can I get an amen for that? Because a lot of times we don't like to talk about that. Are y'all still with me? Are y'all still with me? Type of 1 in the comment section. Can you? Okay, amen, amen. Yes, you're still with me. Okay, I didn't know if we got disconnected or something. Okay, yes. So here's the other thing. All right, yeah, there we go, Mina girl. Yes, Taloria. So here's the other thing. You find yourself going deeper into. Okay, good. I'm like, where'd they go? So you find yourself getting deeper and deeper into this depression, because that's what it is. We're sad. We don't have as much energy. We start sleeping a lot. Oh, thank you. Yes, we start sleeping a lot. We're not going out as much into the world. Hey there, welcome, sower of the word. Thanks for inviting your followers. Thanks for tapping the screen. But we're not going out as much. But then it could be on the opposite spectrum, right? Where we end up doing, and a lot of us women, we do this. We say, you know what? I gotta have me some retail therapy. So we end up going to the mall to try to make us, thank you. We go to the mall. Hey, Stacy, welcome. Come on in. Yes, okay, that's why you're quiet. Okay, so here's the thing. We start going, we call it the blues. Yes, Stacy, tell those boys I said hi. So, yes, we call it the blues. We say, oh, I'm feeling down, but we never say, I'm depressed because, no, you meet the criteria. Yeah. We never call a spade, so to speak. And I don't know how to play spades, but, or you call a duck, right? But here's the thing. Fix it. And you know what? Tell them I said hi, yes. Too cute. So here's the thing, though. We get caught up. We go to the mall, right? So we figure, if I just buy something, I'll feel better. If I just buy something, I'll look better, right? But we're so busy trying to dress up the outside that we're not doing the work to fix up the inside. And the inside is broken. The inside is torn. The inside is bleeding. And it becomes so much. It becomes too much, right? So we go to the mall and we get these things and then we're still not feeling better, right? So then guess what? We end up doing this emotional eating. So we're wondering, why am I not losing this weight? What's going on? So we do, finding worth in material things, and it just doesn't fix it. It doesn't fix it. So then some of us, we turn to eating. And we have that emotional eating. And then, the pounds pack on. And guess what? Then we end up gaining weight, and then we're even more depressed, because that's what it is. We're more depressed. Hey, work at home, thank you for coming in. We're more depressed because then we can't lose the weight. Welcome, poet. But we don't realize sometimes that even though we have some women, we say, okay, I put on all this weight, let me start exercising so I can take it off. So as we start exercising to try to get it off, it's not coming off, and we're totally confused. And you want to know why you're confused? Because there are stress hormones in your body that no matter how much you exercise, no matter how much you eat well, that weight is just not going to go away unless you take and do the inner work to heal your emotions, to heal yourself from the inside out. So then we end up in these relationships, and a lot of times some of these men say, oh, she got married and she got fat. Well, he's not taking into the account that he lets his mother come over and take her stuff, lets his mother come over and talk to her any kind of way, disrespect her, tell the children things that they don't even need to know or hear. And then you're sitting there, and tension builds, and the tension builds. And for those of you who are familiar with the domestic violence wheel and cycle, that tension builds, and it starts with the name calling. Yeah, I got this thing here. I need to get me a little mount, because it's so funny, because I have tape up here to hold my phone up because I'm doing OBS. Isn't that terrible? Yeah. So yes, it's stress weight, right? So it's stress weight, and the stress weight brings in more tension. It brings in more, just issues. So he's thinking, like I said, he's looking at the wife like, man, I can't trust her. It's me and my mom against the world. And then it's like a club between him and his mom, because if there is a dad involved, he's on the outside of the circle, of their circle, so it's just very dysfunctional. And that's how that cycle of abuse begins. Yes, it's the mama's boy. And I was just talking about here in the book, there was another thing, here's the other thing. She, like I said before, she talks to him in such a way that, I don't know if you guys remember, and you might go on YouTube to look this up, but if you ever have seen Mad TV, hey, welcome, produced by Gus. If you've ever seen Mad TV, right, there was this character called Rusty. And Rusty was supposed to be like this 8-year-old boy or 6-year-old boy, but he would just do something little, like jump. And he's like, hey, look what I can do. And his mother, hey, welcome, thank you so much for coming in. And so his mother is just like, oh, look at you. Go ahead. That's so awesome. And it's like, but he didn't do anything. Well, this is the making of abusers. These are mothers who, the sons haven't really done anything. Yes, in a big diaper. Haven't really done anything, but they've made things a big deal. They've covered for them. There's never been any accountability or responsibility. So these men grow up and then they marry women, and they expect the women to constantly just assert them and affirm them when they're not even taking care of the things that they should be doing. So once again, there's more tension. There's more tension. And men do not handle depression. Depression manifests itself differently. Yes, have a good night. Thank you so much for stopping in and sharing the scope and pumping those hearts. I appreciate it. I'll catch you on the replay too. I saw yours. So here's the thing. Depression manifests itself differently in men than it does in women. So they begin to, for men, it manifests itself in anger and violence and just being short-tempered and, all of that. Whereas women, they may weep, they may cry, they, get depressed, feed their emotions with food. But for the most part, it's not violent. So you have this man who loves his wife, torn between the wife and the mother, but because of that bond and the brainwashing, because you have to remember, you're just now coming along. They've spent his lifetime together. So to think for a moment that your vows can somehow reverse this thing, it's going to take some true divine intervention to really get him to wake up to see that your vows are more important than other relationships, right? So somebody said earlier that they're in a situation where her fiance, who was that? My memory is short. Somebody said that, but if you don't go to counseling now, you definitely need to go to counseling for sure. And that's something that a lot of people are not open to. I am an advocate for counseling. Counseling for men, counseling for women, counseling for children. They even have counseling for dogs. But honestly, you really should be going to get counseling before you get married. And I always say, they make it so easy to go and get a marriage certificate and just say, I do. But what they don't tell you, and that's a good scope. Because what they don't tell you, right, is that going through the divorce process is a very rigorous process. It's not just going and signing a piece of paper and you're out. It's so deep. And that's why I tell women, I don't care. And men too, because I work with men as well. But I don't care if let me just reset real quick because I see a few people are coming in. For those of you who don't know me, I am Dr. Tamika Works on all social media platforms, and I help you know the red flags of domestic violence and escape potentially deadly situations. And once you've grown out of that, and into a different place of life, I help you find your voice, tell your story, and take the stage of your life so that you can show up as the most powerful and profitable version of who you are. So here's the thing. I tell women, right? I don't care if you make $5 an hour. I don't care if you make $10 an hour or you make $10,000 an hour. You need to have a prenuptial agreement. Can somebody type a 1 in the comments section just to let me know you heard what I said? Did you catch that? Seriously, did you catch that? It should not be about feelings. It should not be, it shouldn't be about feelings. It shouldn't be about, anything personal. It's not personal. Because at the end of the day, you have to take care of you because somebody can turn on you and the speed of lightning. So you want to make sure you got all of your stuff together. And I've heard so many women say, oh, well, he loves me. He would never do that to me. Oh, but you don't know who's in his, point blank period. You don't know who's in his head. That's right. Pump those hearts, guys. It lets me know that, you guys are getting something out of this. Yes, indeed. Yes. So here's the thing. Don't be blind. I'm not saying don't be in love because being in love is a beautiful thing. But you wouldn't just hire any old body to take care of your baby, would you? Right? No, right? You wouldn't just hire any old body to take care of your baby. So I think, and this is just my opinion, I really think, right, that when it comes to dating somebody, you need to interview their family members, interview their friends, find out. And here's the thing. See, y'all done got me started now. You gotta find out, interview the mom, the dad. What's the relationship with his mom? What's the relationship with his dad? Are they hiding from you that the grandmother really raised him and now they're pretending as though the mother is the best thing? There's so many different dynamics. Interview the cousins, and not the cousins that are in his hip pocket. Talk to those cousins that have an issue with him, that don't want to be around him. Find those things out, because you might find out that maybe he did something to a cousin in childhood that is borderline psychopathic behavior. Did y'all catch that? Yes, do your research. And I'm just going to be real with y'all right now for a moment. I ain't do my research. And here, a degree in psychology, information systems, all of these degrees. I ain't do my research. Now, granted, I was just 18, starting off in college, but you know how embarrassing that was to go through college and have a degree in psychology and then have to tell somebody, I'm being abused. He did this to me. He did that to me. Like, that's just outright bananas and crazy. And there are a lot of women like that. Once I started speaking up and speaking out, I started realizing there were women, judges, attorneys, CPAs, business. When I say lucrative business owners, no way, I'm gonna have to follow you, girl. It's all in here. It's all in here. I'm telling you. But here's the thing. It's like, you hear my story, I'll eventually hear your story. We hear other women's story, and it's like a classic abuser. It's like, okay, do these men like have the same mom and dad? Like, are they cut from the same cloth? Like, what is going on? Like, how do they know to have these types of behaviors that are like identical? Because see, when my life, right, you know, it's like, what in the world? So it's like, when I realized my life could be like snuffed out within a millisecond, I said, ooh, mama's got to make a change, because I was really taken aback. I'm like, all these years and then you do this? But catch this. Apples, right. Welcome, Yard of Greatness. But catch this. One particular time, had blood on me, neck swollen. You can see the fingerprints, the whole nine. He called his mother. So then she calls me because the police took him over there. And I said, well, y'all can't come unless the police come with you to escort you, because I don't want you saying I said or did anything that I didn't say or do. So the police come to escort. So the mother comes in. So instead of her saying, oh, that blood on your shirt, oh my goodness, your neck is swollen, oh my gosh, look at those fingerprints on your neck, she said, is his things packed? Did you pack his things? I'm like, wow. First of all, he should have gone to jail, but me being here, I was in the cycle, in the battered woman syndrome, didn't even know I was in it. Cops are like, what happened? He's got to go to jail. Oh, no. I'm going to tell y'all, you better file the police reports. You better file a restraining order, go to the hospital, get a medical record, follow up. Because if you don't, you will be thrown up under the bus, rolled over, and backed up over if you don't. Because the court system, and I talk about it in the book too, court system is very unforgiving. Like they don't, it's like you are just guilty. Everybody's just guilty. It's crazy. I mean, even the kids, even the minors, they're guilty too. You know, it's just crazy how the system is set up. It's the slap on the wrist type of thing when it comes to DV, but that's a whole nother scope. But here I was in the cycle. I ain't even know. I'm busy covering. His mama's like, did you pack his things? Like she didn't even give 2 doggons, not even a split of a half. And that's when I knew it's time to make a change, or else like that cop said, yes, keep a journal. Keep a journal. Keep copies of text messages, emails, voicemails. And as Chantel, we were talking, yesterday on a scope, how they go on this like smear campaign. They got flying monkeys. They turn everybody against you. And you're just like out there alone on an island trying your best to survive. It's like this character assassination. But here's the thing. The very thing that they loved about you in the beginning, everything that they praised you, they praised you for it. They absolutely adored you. You could do nothing wrong. They begin to hate you for it. You won't be able to do anything right. Everything you do is wrong. Yes, Mina. Yes. Everything is wrong. And so that's how it comes about, where you're walking on eggshells. It can be something. Yes, exactly. And that's what we teach at Speak Up, Speak Out Enterprises. That's why we help you become the most powerful and profitable version of yourself. Because I always ask people, are you showing up as the most powerful and profitable version of yourself? And usually the answer is no. And I came up with that because I realized several years ago that, I had a job promotion. Years ago, I had a job promotion. Significant increase in money. And I turned it down because he said there was going to be too big of a gap in our income. Turned it down. And because of that, I wasn't showing up as the most powerful and profitable version of myself. You said, huh? Yeah, that didn't make sense, did it? But I said, I will never do that again, ever. I will never, love someone more than I love myself. Because even though I thought I loved myself, it's like you're so busy taking care of him, and and here's the kicker: the mom and dad get sick, who they call? They call me. You treat me bad, but then you need me when you go to the hospital to take care of your paperwork. So while I was taking care of everybody else, welcome, Sweet Apple, thanks for coming in. While I'm taking care of everybody else and everything else, you lose yourself. And guess what? That is a form of self-abuse. It's a form of self-abuse. It is a form of self-abuse. Because anytime you are not taking care of yourself first, you are self-abusing. And, I hear a lot of people say, oh, you can't serve from an empty cup. You can't serve from an empty cup. I tell people, fill up your cup. Fill your cup up. And when you fill your cup up, do not let anyone take a sip, a swallow, or a gulp from your cup. You serve from your overflow. And that way, you're never running on empty. You're never running on fumes. Yes. Tap the screen for those hearts and feel free to share out the scope. For those of you who have just joined, I am Dr. Tamika Works on all social media platforms, and I'm a best-selling author of the book Speak Up and Get Out. And I help women know the red flags of domestic violence and how to escape potentially deadly situations. And I also help a few good men. I had a man contact me. He said, I saw you on TV, and I'm not flirting or anything like that. I try to tell my daughter that. How do I say it so she don't get mad again? It's hard. It's hard no matter how much. Yeah, we need our own money. Exactly. I would say, be gentle with her, because sometimes trying to tell her to, he's no good for you or whatever, it may push her closer to him. So I'd say be as gentle as possible, because she's probably brainwashed by him into thinking that she's lucky to have him. Nobody else will want her. So you're dealing with a lot of those issues too. I would highly suggest that you contact your local domestic violence shelter and see if they have groups, group counseling, or if your daughter would just call and just talk to maybe the hotline. Did you catch that? So that's how I would approach it. But if you come at her, with you need to, he's no good, he's not, that's gonna push her closer to him. So that's not gonna do her any good. But I would highly suggest, if you are talking to her about leaving him, definitely contact the National Domestic Violence hotline so they can connect you with your local women's domestic violence shelter, because when it comes to abusers, if you tell, they fear loss, they fear abandonment. So if you tell them that you're going to leave and you're being abused, they are going, thank you so much for the hearts, I appreciate it. They are going to, the mental is just as bad as the physical. Yeah, she's going to have an allegiance to him. So I would definitely say, whatever you do, welcome Larry. I'm sorry, I can't see that. That got me. So make sure that you connect with them. Hey, thank you for coming in. Thank you for the hearts. So make sure that if it's mental, it's a lot worse. I agree. That mental, that verbal abuse, that emotional abuse, the gaslighting. Main focus to keep the relationship going. Because it is a part. That's the replay. Yeah, they replay it over and over again. And that's a part of that Stockholm syndrome, where they begin to identify with the kidnapper. They identify with the abuser. That's why people say, well, why doesn't she just leave? Well, she can't just leave. She's brainwashed. Okay? They say, well, she left. Why did she go back? She's stupid. She's dumb. How do I know? Because I was called stupid. I was called dumb. I was called all kind of names. But it wasn't a thing of, it's indescribable is what it is. But it is truly a brainwashing. And you have to help her, through that process, because it's going to be a painful process. Yeah, and that makes them even more dangerous. Mine was military too. Yeah, makes it even more dangerous. Yeah. I would definitely connect with the local women's shelter, because you need to get a safe exit strategy plan, because like I said, a lot of abusers, they go back 7 to 10 times before they're gone for good or they are murdered. That is so true. That is so true. That's like I tell people, there's a war on women. 3 to 4 women die per day in the United States as a result of domestic violence. So we have to take action, like the proceeds. Yeah, show her your love. Show her your support. Yes. Brainwashed by your own beliefs, the church, and the media. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Oh, wow. Yeah, definitely. You know what? A good start would be counseling too. And that's why I say contact. See, the women's shelters are not just about shelters, right? They have shelter, yes, but same here. And it was a thing of, I didn't want to break my vows. Yep, exactly. But they have not only shelters, but they also have resources where they can connect you with counselors, mental health counselors who specialize in domestic violence. I highly suggest that. Yep, keep talking about her value, things that will encourage her to believe in herself, because 9 times out of 10, what about all those that look picture perfect on the outside? Yeah, welcome, sweet mama one. Well, that's what I tell people. I was living in a Lifetime looking house in a Lifetime looking neighborhood and getting beat like a Lifetime movie, you know? And if it wasn't physical, I mean, the verbal and the emotional, that's something. You know, and in my book, I talk about gaslighting and word salad. Word salad is the worst. I mean, it's like you put this one up as the worst and then boom, this one is the worst. It is, I mean, it's all horrible. It's like a living freaking nightmare. It's horrible. It's horrible. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Tamika Works on all social media platforms. My website is www.tamikaanderson.com. I do have videos there from television, but if you'd like to stay connected with me, you can join the Speak Up, Speak Out Network.com, speakupspeakoutnetwork.com. And yeah, that's a place where I sometimes go live, but it's not to the public. So it's just to the private group. And sometimes I do pop-up classes in there, you know. So if you want to stay connected, join speakupspeakoutnetwork.com. And you can also text the word THRIVE to get a free gift from me at 412-201-0224. That's 412-201-0224 to get a free gift from me. But welcome back, Working Home Mom. But yeah, the shelters are not just about shelter. They do offer a lot of resources to be able to help women and children. And I would definitely start with counseling. I would definitely start with encouraging her and rebuilding her self-esteem. Rebuilding her self-esteem. Rebuilding her confidence. Because 9 times out of 10, he's led her to believe that she can't live without him. Like she won't be able to make it on her own without him. Did you catch that? Her one time. So that's what I wanted to, share with you guys this evening. That cycle of, okay, good. So that cycle of domestic violence, it pretty much starts from the time that abuser was a small child. Understand when we look? Yeah, you understand it. Yep. Yeah. Yep. You get it. And thank you so much for being here, because you could be anywhere else. But, I thank you for being here, because you never know. You might meet somebody or see somebody and it's like, wow, okay, I know these red flags now and I know how to get this person help. Because sometimes, we want to get the person out of the situation. But if you don't have that safe exit strategy plan, it's setting, you and that person, that woman up to be murdered. And, that's what I was going to tell you earlier. There was this man that contacted me and he said, I've been divorced for 13 years. He said, but I was listening to your video and I'm like, wow. He said, I was being abused, but I didn't know to call it abuse. So his wife at the time would take his keys or always keep tabs on where he was or where he was going. And he said he just got tired of it. She controlled everything. And so a lot of people say, well, why don't you talk about, men or, being abused by women? Because I didn't live it. See, I can't tell you something that I know nothing about, because then that would make me a fraud. Can I get an amen? So that's what I wanted to be able to share with you all. It begins, the cycle begins when the mother just makes the son take on responsibilities that really his father or her husband or the significant other in her life should be dealing with or taking care of. And then he has that resentment towards the woman in his life, whether it's the wife or, the mother of his children, because he feels torn between the mother and the wife, because the mother becomes jealous because she taught him how to be a good man. She taught him to be a good man. And because he is being a good man, she's thinking like, wait a minute, I wasn't treated like this. I didn't get this kind of treatment. So she begins to resent the wife, the girlfriend. So that's what I wanted to share. So I will see you all tomorrow, same time, same place. Welcome as possible to do. I will see you all. Thank you so much for the hearts. And make sure you share this out, retweet it with your friends, family members, and followers, because you never know who is suffering in silence. You never know who is being abused and they don't even know they're being abused, because abuse is not always physical. So thank you guys.